Picture this. A vast, swirling nebula stretches across the cosmos, its vibrant hues of purple and blue glowing like a cosmic canvas. Suddenly, a shadow emerges, a sleek, dark hull cutting through the misty expanse. It shimmers ominously, a predator lurking in the void. This wasn't just any ship. It was an alien vessel, its presence radiating a chilling promise of destruction. Without a whisper warning, it unleashed a blinding energy pulse that tore through space like a silent scream. Across the Federation fleet, alarms erupted in a deafening chorus as shields flickered and died, weapons falling silent in an instant. Chaos clawed its way through the ranks, a tidal wave of panic threatening to drown them all. But then, a voice sliced through the madness, General Voren's. Steady, commanding, it was a lifeline in the storm. "Stay calm and hold your positions," he barked, his tone a steel anchor amid the unraveling terror. Yet even as he spoke, the alien ship struck again. Beams of searing light carved through the fleet, slashing starships apart like they were nothing more than paper caught in a shredder. Explosions bloomed around them, fiery blossoms of destruction lighting up the nebula as vessel after vessel disintegrated. In mere minutes, the Federation's proud armada, their shining symbol of strength, was reduced to a graveyard of floating debris. "General, we must retreat." Admiral Ra's voice cracked through the comms, her usual cool-headed composure fracturing under the weight of the carnage. Her wide eyes reflected the flickering wreckage outside, a mirror to the horror gripping them all. Voren's jaw tightened, his resolve shaken but unbroken. She was right. "All remaining ships, initiate emergency warp drives," he ordered, his voice steady despite the tremor in his chest. "Fall back to the nearest Federation outpost." The battered remnants of the fleet obeyed, engines roaring to life as they fled the battle zone. Warping away, Voren stared out at the vanishing nebula, the weight of failure pressing down on him like a collapsing star. They'd faced something beyond comprehension, and the unknown loomed larger and more terrifying than ever. The journey back to Federation space was a grim procession. Silence hung heavy in the air, broken only by the hum of strained engines. Faces etched with lost stare blankly ahead, haunted by the ghosts of their fallen comrades and the sheer, overwhelming power of that alien ship. Voren locked himself in his quarters, poring over battle data with a relentless focus. Every frame, every reading. He searched for something, anything, that could unravel the mystery of what they'd encountered. Hours bled into days, his mind a battlefield of its own, replaying the devastation over and over. When the fleet finally limped into the Federation outpost, they were greeted not with triumph but with a mix of relief and dread. Word of the massacre spread like wildfire, igniting panic across the galaxy. Streets once alive with chatter fell quiet, replaced by fearful whispers and darting glances. The government scrambled into action, calling an emergency session, an event so rare it underscored the gravity of their plight. Voren, still battered but standing tall, faced the Federation Council. The chamber, usually buzzing with debate, was a tomb of silence as he stepped forward. "We were outmatched in every possible way," he began, his voice heavy with the burden of truth. "Their technology is beyond anything we've ever seen. They disabled our defenses and shredded our ships with ease. We need to regroup, understand this enemy, and find a way to fight back." President Alera, a beacon of calm amid the storm, met his gaze. Her steady presence was a balm to the shaken council. "General, what do you propose?" she asked, her voice cutting through the tension. Voren straightened, determination sparking in his eyes. "We sent a reconnaissance team to gather intel on that ship. We upgrade our defenses, rally our allies. This isn't just a threat to us, but to every corner of civilized space." The council nodded, their fear giving way to a shared resolve. The air crackled with urgency as they moved fast, assembling a task force of the Federation's finest, scientists, engineers, soldiers, all united by a single mission: return to the Nera Nebula, study the enemy, and find a chink in its armor. As the task force prepped to depart, the Federation kicked into overdrive. Factories churned out new tech, reinforced shields, cutting-edge weapons, while diplomats raced in neighboring systems, pleading for unity. The alien ship had rattled them to their core, but also lit a fire they couldn't ignore. They wouldn't be caught defenseless again. Voren watched the recon team's stealth ships vanish into the stars, a knot of hope and dread twisting in his gut. The road ahead was a dark, uncharted void, but he knew one thing for certain. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and they'd rise to meet it or die trying. Back in the capital, the news hit like a shockwave. Crowds gathered, their eyes wide with terror as reports of the fleet's decimation painted a picture of doom. The bustling streets turned into a sea of hushed voices, the fragile peace they'd known for centuries teetering on the edge. In the council chamber, the atmosphere was electric with tension. Voren stood before them again, recounting every gut-wrenching detail. The alien ship's sleek menace, the pulse that crippled them, the beams that turned their fleet to ash. The leaders, usually unshakable, sat in stunned silence, the weight of his words sinking deep. President Alera's voice broke the stillness. "General, you have our deepest condolences for your fleet," she said, her tone somber yet resolute. "Tell us everything." He did, laying bare the raw horror of it all. When he finished, the room buzzed with a grim consensus. "We need a recon team," he said, echoing his earlier plea. "Better defenses, stronger alliances. This is a fight for survival." Alera nodded, her gaze sweeping the room. "Agreed. Assemble the team. We move now." Enter Commander Leora, a tactician with nerves of steel and a mind sharper than a blade. She led the task force with precision, her crew armed to the teeth with drones, scanners, and stealth ships built to slip through the shadows. They knew the risks, knew they were heading back into the jaws of the beast, but the stakes left no room for hesitation. As they launched, the Federation doubled down, churning out tech and rallying support. Allies answered the call, their ships and resources bolstering the cause, while others lingered on the sidelines, wary but watching. The Nyera Nebula loomed ahead, its swirling beauty now a mask for terror. Leora's team slipped in, cloaked and cautious, every flicker of light a potential threat. "Keep your eyes peeled," she ordered, her voice low but firm. "We can't afford mistakes." Drones fanned out, scanning the alien ship's eerie form. The data poured in organic metal hybrids, energy signatures that defied logic. "Look at this," Dr. Nyla, a scientist with wide-eyed wonder, said, pointing to a glowing display. "It's core. It's something else entirely." Leora's mind raced. "Can we crack it?" she pressed. "We're trying," Nyla replied, "but it's a puzzle we've never seen." Then a faint signal, a distress beacon from a Federation wreck, half swallowed by the nebula's mists. Against protocol, Leora made the call. "We're going in." They boarded the derelict ship, its scorched hulls whispering of the battle lost. Amid the rubble, survivors clung to life, including Lieutenant Jackson. His voice rasped with urgency. "The core is their weak spot. Hit it, and the whole ship falls. But it's guarded, wrapped in an energy field." That was the key they needed. The team raced back, their findings a lifeline for the Federation's next move. Voren pored over the data, his fleet now rebuilt and bristling with upgrades. "Leora, you've given us a shot," he said, a rare flicker of pride in his tone. "Now we finish this." The Federation rallied, united in purpose. They'd strike back, armed with intel and a hunger for retribution. The stage was set, a showdown that would decide their fate, and maybe the galaxy's. Voren's resolve hardened. They'd reclaim the stars, no matter the cost. Months later, the Federation was unrecognizable, transformed by necessity. Factories roared, producing ships and weapons born from desperation and ingenuity. Recruits flooded the academies, their eyes burning with purpose. Voren stood on the Resolute's bridge, his flagship a symbol of their defiance. The recon data had been their salvation, pinpointing the alien ship's Achilles heel. "Admiral R.A., is the fleet ready?" he asked, his voice a quiet thunder. "Yes, General," she replied, her gaze fierce. "All ships await your command." The fleet surged into the nebula, a force of raw power and precision. The alien ship loomed once more, its dark hull a specter of death. But this time they were ready. "Leora, start the distraction," Voren commanded. Her fighters darted forward, weaving through deadly beams with breathtaking skill, pulling the enemy's focus. The main fleet closed in weapons primed. "Target the core," Vorin said. "Break that field." A storm of fire erupted, hammering the energy shield until it flickered and cracked. "Field at 70%, Jackson called. "Now back in the fight. Keep pushing," Vorin urged. The alien ship lashed back, beams carving through their ranks, ships bursting into flames. But the Federation held firm. "Field at 30%. Jackson shouted, hope edging his voice. "Ion disruptors, now." Vorin roared. The new weapons fired, piercing the faltering shield and slamming into the core. The alien ship shuddered, its lights dimming as chaos erupted within. "We've hit it," Jackson yelled. "All firepower on the core," Vorin ordered. The fleet unleashed everything, and with a final cataclysmic blast, the enemy vessel exploded, a supernova of light and debris scattering through the nebula. Cheers erupted across the fleet, a wave of relief and triumph washing over them. Vorin's lips curved into a faint smile, exhaustion mingling with pride. "We've done it," R.A. said, her voice thick with emotion. "Yes," Vorin replied. "Let's bring our people home." As they returned to Federation space, victory sparked celebrations galaxy-wide. Fear gave way to hope, unity forged in fire. At grand ceremony, Vorin addressed the masses. "Today we celebrate not just a win, but our strength," he declared. "Together, we faced the abyss and came out stronger." The crowd roared, their spirits soaring. The galaxy had shifted, but the Federation stood tall, ready for whatever lay among the stars.